Hi, this is Dana. Um, this is a video which essentially is feeding into previous three videos that I made in talking about embodiments versus identity, and specifically focusing on embodiments done by work with darkness. Yeah. Um, this video in this video I want to talk about the structures, the organizations which actually do this. Yeah. Please keep in mind that most of my videos do not give full information on the topic. As I said many times, it's because it's in order to be able to upload, I have to make very short videos. It takes very long. I don't know why it's a problem for me to upload. I kind of know, but I don't know how to address it. Like the latest video which I posted, it took me literally more than 12 hours to upload. So because of this, I'm trying to make short videos, and because of this, I only say what is very important. If you have questions, you can always ask me. And again, you find the information in the file which I created in the Akashic Records with information from my own spiritual fighting knowledge, which is useful for you to do your spiritual fighting of bondage breaking, your self-healing, and to define your path. Now let's focus to move fast because time is running. I'm gonna talk about just one type of structure which works on this work with darkness. There are many of them, but I'm just gonna give a few examples, and I'm gonna talk about convents because this is very common knowledge by now already about these organizations, and I actually already mentioned them a few times both in my prophetic writings and in my videos. There are these structures which differ of how they're organized. Some of them are regional, can be a neighborhood convent, it can be a regional convent in terms of nationality. So it can be broader, like a nationwide, or it can be even an international network of organizations alike. Most important is to understand, in my personal view, that what they do, it's spiritual, religious spirituality practice. And in this regional, local neighborhood type of organization, for example, you can have like the church in the neighborhood. You can have a certain hierarchy among neighbors who are part of these organizations. They usually do worshiping, do rituals, they do a lot of dark spirituality, basically. And some of them have certain specialties. Some of them are mercenaries, and they literally have a portfolio, and they will offer to you contracts on individual. They create bondages on individuals, embodiments, and so on. And they have keywords. They create a trauma, for example, trauma bonding on an individual. They harass an individual continuously, like I was telling you about my neighbors. I don't even talk to the person. I'm in my courtyard or in my property, and she yells at me from across the street from her own property. She doesn't talk to me. She yells very insulting things at me for no reason. For no reason. So it's you should pay attention around you, and you should the one way to use my information is in order for you to get a hint, because as I said, me myself, I ignored these people for a long time because I thought there's some maybe crazy lunatics or some stupid people who have nothing else to do. But when I understood the depth of the evil which lays in them and in their activity, and the dementia with which they harass and follow you, I figured, okay, people should know about this, because if it took me too long to pay attention to them, maybe others will save time and will learn early on about these things. Anyhow, so in my view, these organizations, regardless, there are many types, but regardless, all of them are just organized crime, doing trafficking on individuals and doing huge harm and illegal activity. This is illegal from a spiritual perspective. Unfortunately, there's no legislation at this point dealing with witchcraft, with sorcery, with necromancy, and so on. But personally, I intend to be involved in creating legislation to punish this, so the justice system can actually take measures against them on this topic, because as we speak now, there is no legislation, and even for the judiciary system is difficult, because even if they know, they don't have the legislation to work with to punish them for this. I mean, there were institutions which actually interrogated some of these individuals because they were doing all sorts of attacks on me, on my dogs, on my property, and even idolatry, altar magic, and witchcraft, and so on. And literally at some point, they will just mock you. The answer of one of them to the authorities was that, what do you mean I did idolatry? I was praying for her. But that was a darkness attack. Idolatry, it sends a certain type of principalities at you, and it's extremely painful attack. Anyhow, so I intend to be involved in creating this legislation. What they do is trafficking. They harvest energy, and they try to create and maintain essentially a system of trafficking, of human trafficking and enslavement through creation of doppelgangers, which have the purpose to manipulate you. Literally, they will have to the purpose initially to frame you and to set you up, to pull you into their organizations. Yeah, if you have certain gifts that they want to use, or you have certain divine rights that they need to use, so they will try to create different situations to blackmail you with, to create addictions on you, to drag you into their mud. If they cannot do this, then they decide the doppelganger will replace you, because they need you in this organization. They need your gifts. This is why they do all this. So then they decide to create embodiments on you. They make a meeting and they decide that you should be their slave. I'm not kidding. This is stupid, childish thing, but it's true. They replace you with one of these doppelgangers. They find out what divine rights you have. They split your rights among themselves. Like, you have rights in terms of money, career, family, love life, marriage, childbirth, different type of professional profiles, fame, and so on. Yeah, so they will split that among them, and they decide that somebody replaces you, one of these doppelgangers, and they create enslavement on individuals, harvesting energy. And as I said, they create a certain trauma bonding in order to which essentially is used as a key to access your energy, and then they sell this as a contract, and literally they have a list of what trauma was created on you, and how that can be accessed, and they sell this to individuals to whom they sell. There are plenty of individuals in their system, in higher hierarchy, which are interested in this. Politicians are the first ones, yeah, because they need energy in order to be presented, to seem charismatic, to do glamour magic on public, to vote for them, and so on. Yeah, and even business people, they need this in order to sell their products more. There are huge number of reasons and clients that they have. Now, again, this is, in my view, organized crime and trafficking. And what they do, they have a certain number of practices. I'm just going to mention a few of them. I don't pretend to know everything about what they do, but what I know is what God showed me, and I know from experience all this. And it's not just the neighborhood. About these convents, neighborhood convents, I know from a priest who told me, because there was this attack done on me, and I at the time I went to church to ask a priest, what is going on, and he explained to me about this. So I did not invent any of it. And there are priests from church who are part of it, of these convents. Yeah, because the priest has a higher power, and not only priests, not only the church, but also public institutions who are part of this. Intel institutions mostly are part of it, as an institution, but also individuals in their private life. Policemen, the intel officers are part of this, and many others, not only this, political parties and politicians and so on. Again, I found out from a priest all this, who was himself part of this. So there are these organizations which basically, what happened, they have this, this is their main idea, to create this enslavement in different ways. And they have a number of practices in order to, first of all, to draw you in, or if they cannot draw you in, to draw you in and to take your rights. And if they cannot take your rights, to block your rights, so you do not have a new beginning. This is very important to pay attention to what I'm saying here, and I will tell you at the end why it's very important. At this point in time, it's very important for everybody, even for non-believers in what I'm saying. It's important to at least keep it on the back of your mind. Yeah. They do this. Again, they split the rights you have, because they don't have divine rights, either by creating doppelgangers who impersonate you and steal your position, your rights in different ways, or your gifts. Now, keep in mind, in order to steal this, these are divine rights. They cannot steal them per se. In order to steal this, what they do, they create judgments. So they have meetings and they make judgment, because it functions like a judiciary system. Yeah, and they make a judgment on you and a punishment. And they have these mercenary organizations, which this is what they do. They make fake, untruthful declarations about you. She did this, she said that, but it's not you. It's the doppelganger who does it. This is what I meant earlier when I said they frame you. They frame you, they do things in your name, they impersonate you, then they go make a declaration in their meetings, then you are being judged by them. This is all unbeknownst to you. Nobody tells you, nobody asks you. And they decide upon a punishment. And the punishment is to create some embodiment on you. Do you see how stupid it is? You know, if it wouldn't be so harmful, it would be something to laugh about, but it's very harmful. And then they start to create that embodiment on you. Another type of punishment is to take away your rights or to block your opportunities so you cannot develop further. And they do this, again, for example, they will use the natal chart, astrological natal chart, in which they bind different individuals to different houses in your natal chart. Yeah. So they will become you. But in order to do this, even like so, they still need to be binded to you. They still need your energy. They cannot create energy. So because of this, because this their choice not to be able to create energy. Once you work with darkness, of course you cannot create light. You have to choose. You cannot be in both. They use these witchcraft, of course, spells, incantation, altar magic, beauty magic, sex magic, mirror magic, water magic, so many, necromancy, sorcery, and a lot of others. Then another practice is rituals. They do rituals. That is rituals, for example, of sacrifice. Sacrifice can be done in different ways. They do offerings of you, of me, yeah, to the deities or the dark forces which they worship. They request in exchange for that power, yeah, or to death. They sacrifice you for death, or they sacrifice, for example, they do spiritual spouse. Spiritual spouse is a marriage, so they create a ritual in which one of the doppelgangers plays your role, yeah, impersonates you, and they offer you as a sacrifice to a certain poltergeist or principality, and they create like a wedding ceremony. And supposedly this ritual means that they offered you as a bride to that poltergeist or to that principality. Listen to, I'm telling you, when God showed this to me, first I freaked out. It's funny, but I will tell you later. So which means that force of darkness feeds on you, yeah, and then you will wonder why you feel sick, why it's binded to you. So it's a force of darkness binded to you, sometimes on soul level, yeah, and because it's a marriage, you will be wondering why it feels, you know how it feels, this, because this was done on me, it feels like death energy. You feel death energy in your energy body, in your aura. I don't know if you can understand this, and it's a huge soul pain, huge soul pain. And for no reason, you don't really have a reason, but you have a huge pain on your soul level, and this is how you discover where the soul is in your body. When this was done on me, at some point, God showed to me in images what they have done, and I didn't understand what he meant. I didn't understand that this is a convent. I didn't know about convent. This is when I went to the church. I went to the priest and asked. I didn't know about these convents, that they exist even. The priest told me, you know, and he laughed about it. He said, don't mind them. They're stupid. They're this regional neighborhood convent. And actually the priest told me, they're below your level of power. Don't mind them. It's nothing. They cannot do anything to you. But for me, the images I saw, the images that God showed me, until I understood exactly what was going on, it completely freaked me out. It's very sordid, and it is unacceptable that they are doing these things. Then also they can do offerings on you for sexual energy, on different type of forces. There are different type of ways in which they sacrifice you. They make offering of you to principalities, and basically the principality will aim to make you his dominion, or to poltergeists, random poltergeists which are alive, which are one of these politicians or whoever they decide, or even ancient poltergeists which are very powerful, yeah, or deities that from darkness that they worship, or different type, because they embrace different type of religions, even like African religions, and so on. And they create these ritualic practices. Sorry, it's my throat chakra. And then they actually pursue a number of attacks on you to make sure that, since they made the ritual of sacrifice, to make sure that you fall. Now, the reason why I said at this point in time is extremely important that you actually pay attention to what I'm saying is because on global level, somebody's cursing me. On global level, the dark forces are being rolled back, and it's a time of much aggression, yeah, and they become extremely aggressive when the rituals they have done of offering you do not come true, and for this reason, basically, what happens is that, sorry, I have low battery, so I need to speak fast. Karma comes. The poltergeist or the principality goes after them. So then they become extremely aggressive, and they do these spiritual attacks on you in order to make sure that you fall. When I had this ritual of spiritual spouse on soul level, actually I went to a few specialists of bioenergeticians to help me. That's when I started learning and started studying actually the topic, because it was very serious. It was extremely painful. And basically what they told me, they said, you need to pray for your soul. You need to pray for your soul. And they were very frightened. They didn't offer much help. And they just said, you need to pray for your soul, and you need to be very cautious. And that worried me, as you can imagine. And it was not easy. I can tell you this much. For example, COVID is one way in which at some point they need to feed the beasts to which they sacrificed you to. If you're still standing and they didn't succeed in their plan, they need to feed the beast. The beast will come after them. That's the point. Yeah, and that's when they become extremely aggressive, and they're capable of anything at all. Yeah, and of course they take it within themselves a lot of darkness. So at some point, when that darkness gets to culmination, they lose their mind, and they are completely, energetically speaking, they are dead. They're just empty shells. And the forces of darkness are at the point of culmination of madness, because you rolled back and karma is coming for them, basically. And this is a time. Now, one more thing that I want to say before I ran out of battery is that all of this is just a little bit of information of one type of organization, and I just described one practice, a few details, but it's much broader than this. On global level, as I said previously, there are networks, international networks. Now, I would like you to remember that I made videos in which I was talking about what is 3D as compared to 5D. And I explained that 3D is much like a frozen conflict area, which is still on Earth at the same time with the 5D, but it's just an area on which these individuals took dominion, let's say. They claimed supremacy on this 3D. They say that they make the rules. These are the rules. This organized crime system are the rules. But they need to feed on someone. They need to feed on those who are not part of it, because they cannot create the energy. Now, at global level, I also made a video in which I spoke about YALTA agreement, and I explained that YALTA agreement, the division of power at global level, and the borders of the countries which were drawn at YALTA were made based on selling contracts and bondages and embodiments on certain individuals with royal rights. Yeah. And totally wrong individuals got to through political power into leadership position. These individuals have no rights for leadership, and many of those countries, they don't have statehood rights. Yeah, they are created through bondages on royals and using the divine rights of leadership of those royals. So this is not just because they want to make a buck, some money. This is actually really important at this point in time, and not just now, but for some time since 2005. You have to remember that since 2005, Russia has been claiming constantly the need of a new balance of power to be negotiated, because the strategic situation on global level has been changed, and the promises made in early 1990s when Russia and many of the Eastern countries changed regime were not respected. And this is what is going on for some years without being very public, or even if it's public, without presenting the truth to the public. Yeah. And the bondages created on you are related to that, feed into that. Fake statehood, fake leadership, feeding on you through bondages and through stolen rights from royals who actually have divine rights to lead and to create states. Yeah. As this doesn't come about, and karma is being delivered, you have then COVID and wars which are started only because they need to feed these forces. So this is very important timing. You need to understand there's a fight again for a new YALTA. So new contracts to be made for the negotiation for the new balance of power and for the succession rights on global level. And on global level, we are only talking about 3D now. Yeah. This is the mad, stupid, imbecile way in which they imagine to lead this 3D. Now, the purpose why we came here is totally to break all these bondages, to expose all of this, and to help individuals to break bondage, to heal, to integrate, and ascend. Yeah, that means dismantling 3D, basically. Yeah, this is what we're talking about. So these are these organizations. You and please, I actually followed this with God, and I checked. You must know that it's not just one case. You are a targeted individual if you're not one of them. You just don't know it. That's all. And each individual who is being targeted is surrounded by their people. You must know. They do not expose themselves, maybe, because you didn't break certain bondages. But at the time when you break the bondages and karma starts to be delivered to them, first thing they do, they make a judgment on you. But the problem is they are not authorized to make this judgment. Second, they don't. This is not a judgment. They start from the decision of condemning you. We need to take these rights from her. What can you come up with so we can blame her for what, in order to justify why we take the right from her? Oh, of course, I will say that she did this. I will say that she said this. I will say that. So it's basically the reverse process as opposed to how making justice would be right, would be done in the right way. Yeah. So they start from what punishment they decided to make on you, and then they start building some sort of and creating, imagining or creating or provoking you many times, trying to, and then they only talk about your reaction, but they don't say what they did in order to force you to say or to do something to defend yourself. I think I made my point right now. Again, this is not a detailed explanation. I've been writing about this in my journaling for a long time, and much more details than this. I allowed for years already now for authorities to have access to this information first, so they will have time to do their own job. At this point in time, God guided me to talk publicly more about this topic. So this is why I started to talk about a little bit more. Previously, I just made one or two remarks. I didn't get in so much details, but I did write, I remember one of my initial prophetic writings in early 2019. I think I entitled it somehow, The Industry of Bondage Creation. So if you go look for that prophetic writing, you will see that I explained there that everything is part of this. It is an industry. Even, you know, the stores in your neighborhood or around the city, in order to be able to have a business, they must do whatever these individuals ask from them. The public institutions as well work with them. The church works with them. The witches, there are convents of witches, yeah, which have specialties in different type of witchcraft and sorcery and necromancy, graveyard magic, and so on and so forth. I'm gonna stop here because it's 32 minutes. I think I made my point. If you need any information, you can ask me, but otherwise, all information I already wrote in the file, which I created in the Akashic records of my journaling. Again, the divine realm will decide who gets access to what piece of information from that file. And I just hope you take this seriously, or at least just use it as a lens to look at your environment, your life, and try to understand. Because many times you will have your own spouse, your own family, which has been recruited to be part of it, or you learn like I did, that your own spouse was sent to you by them from the very beginning, and everything was basically just manipulation. So it's important to just take note and try to understand exactly what's your situation. Yeah, okay.